This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by lynda.com, the unparalleled online video training library. For a free 10-day unlimited trial, visit lynda.com/MacVoices. MacVoices is in Las Vegas for NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. We're in the Imagine Products booth talking to Mark about HD View 2.
Correct.
Got it, 2, which is important.
2. It is very important. The player, the change from HD View 1 to HD View 2 is night and day. A much more powerful application.
All right, so let's talk about first what it does.
Okay. Essentially, it's an all-purpose player. It plays virtually every camera original natively without having to do any sort of transcode. That includes several of the popular 4K cameras, Arri Raw, Arri Amira, all of the red flavors, Cinema DNG, DPX output, all of those ultra high def formats.
Now, a lot of folks are not going to appreciate just how big a deal that is, but all these cameras are creating their own proprietary formats. You've been able to go through and pretty much play everything.
Absolutely. All of these manufacturers, of course, they have their own players for their particular format. That's fine if you're just shooting on, let's say, Arri Raw, but if you're shooting on the other formats, you could get to the point where you've got 4, 5, 6 players on your computer. The motivation behind this was to eliminate all that. It's basically one player to rule them all. And so you can load your Reds, your Arris, your Cinema DNGs, and just play it without all the mess of having several players to deal with.
And I would think there's a big advantage to this too, because I can play it, I can look at it, decide what I want to keep, what I don't want to keep, without having to go through all that transcoding before I head to my NLE or anything else.
Absolutely, it's a perfect field app. In particular, with those 4K footage that often shoot in those log C grayscales, the application allows you to apply a color LUT to play back in the field so you can be sure that it's got the right look that you need going forward. You can, in the field, load all of this information in, apply all the video files in, apply the LUT, play back, and determine that, yes, this is what I need. So then you can reformat your cards after giving it a visual inspection that everything looks correct.
So it sounds like a big deal. It's a player, but it took you a little while to build this, did it not?
It took a long time to build this with many pitfalls experienced along the way. It's sort of like a duck on a pond where it looks very simple, very elegant on the interface, but there is an awful lot going on in the background that the user probably can't see or appreciate, because at the end of the day, when you play a file, you just want to see it play. Getting all of these disjoint formats to play back in a very similar manner was quite an undertaking.
I can only imagine. Let's take a little look at it so we can appreciate just what all it can do.
Great, let's do. Okay, so what we're looking at right here is HD View 2's library interface. As you can see, we have several different high-end formats loaded in the library. We've got an Arri Alexa RAW file, a Cinema DNG, several Panasonic P2 files, all the way down to here, a Sony XAVC, and even a red Scarlet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how it plays back these ultra high-end files. Now normally you wouldn't try to play back a 4K video file on a pretty low-end MacBook that you see right here, but we've harnessed and optimized playback to use the GPU to help assist in the playback of these high-end files. So I'm going to go ahead and do something that normally you shouldn't do, and I'm going to go ahead and play a Scarlet file on this low-end computer. So I double-click the image in the library and it launches the player. I'm going to go ahead and select how I want my time presentation to be. I don't really care about elapsed time. I want to see the time code. So I'm going to select time code representation. Now as the video file is playing back, you can actually see the time code progress. So let's see how this high-end video file plays on this Pro using HD View 2. As you can see, it's playing back very smoothly, not having any buffering issues. It plays back as you would expect a player to play back. No muss, no fuss, no problems at all.
No latency at all either.
Correct. So we'll go ahead and close out the player. What you're looking at in the interface right here is we've provided various filtering mechanisms. You can imagine your library could get very large, and you want to have the ability to find what it is you're looking for. You can search the library based on file names, metadata. It's very much akin to how you would do a spotlight search. If you've got several different formats that you shoot on, you can use the gutter over here to turn on and off various formats that you see in the queue. Let's say I'm not interested in my P2 files, so I'll go ahead and click that off, and it just eliminated all the P2 files from the queue. Another very powerful feature is it can keep track of the various footage that belong to certain HD folders. So you can see here the items that belong together. All of these videos you see are in the same folder. From here, you can play back the entire video folder without having to launch several different the files as you need to see them. In addition, if you're out in the field and you're adding to a folder as the day progresses, you can tell this folder to watch for new contents, and as new video files show up, it'll be added to your library automatically. And of course, what library wouldn't be complete without the ability to have playlists? You can create playlists to add possibly disjoint files and play them back and order them in an intuitive manner, again without the need to continue to launch the player time and time again for each clip. Plays them straight through very smoothly without you having to manage any of it.
So Mark, I know that you focused on the high end, the red files and all that stuff, but this could be useful for anyone trying to play back any legacy format, pretty much anything.
Absolutely. All your MOV files, a lot of your older formats like your XDCam, your EXs, your HDs, AVCCAM, AVCHD, all of those older ones plays back smoothly.
And there's nothing more frustrating than knowing that that file is right there, it's what you need, and you can't play it or can't access it.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. That's why we took all the time that we took making sure that the player is correct and it'll play all of those formats that you have without the need of several different players.
What kind of pricing do we have for this?
Very affordable. One seat license, $99 US is the price for HDView 2. Very easy to get. You go to our website, www.imagineproducts.com, log in, purchase the software, and download it.
Why wouldn't everybody have this in their toolbox?
Oh, well, mostly because they don't know it exists. That's what we're here talking about, the need that exists to have a player that plays all of your formats without having to use several different applications.
Well, hopefully we've educated a few people now, and folks, go out and spread the word. This is something everyone should have it for one reason or another, whatever you need. $99 and a player that can play pretty much anything. Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Chuck.
Good to see you, Mark.
Yep, you too. Have a great NAB.
You too.
Thank you.
Folks, more from Las Vegas and NAB. I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at MacVoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting MacVoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.